Hey everybody, welcome to From the Top, presented by Armina Stone. I'm your host, Celina Pompeani, and today I have the lovely Jesse Wig with me. Jesse is a guy who truly does it all. He's a real estate entrepreneur. He is the owner of LifeSpace Real Estate and Atlas Estates. Jesse, great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we are so excited that you are here because you are a young guy and you have done it all already. You're in your early 30s and you own a ton of companies, but you also are involved in flipping houses. You're in the real estate side of things. You kind of do a little bit of everything. How did you get to where you are? You've accomplished so much as such a young guy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's tough. I'm guilty of telling very long stories, so I'm going to do my best to kind of summarize everything.
That's perfect. We have all the time in the world for you today.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think where it started out was I was living in Erie, Pennsylvania, and I was working at a juvenile delinquent independent group home. And after I graduated college, and I quickly realized it was a bit of a negative atmosphere, and I wanted to switch careers. So I had a friend that was flipping houses down here in Pittsburgh. His name's Chris, and I connected with him, and I drove back and forth from Erie to Pittsburgh for it's a 2-hour trip. You know, I did that for about 6 months.
Wow.
Doing some renovations for him, and I was like, you know, what do I do? How do I do this? So he's like, you got to find a house that needs renovation. You got to facilitate, you know, some private money or however you can facilitate the funds. And that's how I got started. So the very first house that I flipped was in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it didn't go well. I lost $43,000 in the first house I flipped.
But you learned a lot.
That's right. So honestly, what I tell people is that I am happy that I lost money on my first flip. That is the truth. I would have preferred it to have been a few $1,000.
Yeah, maybe 5.
That's exactly right. But it hit me really hard, and I knew that I wanted to stay into real estate, but I had a lot to learn on the investment side. So I got my real estate license, and then I moved to Pittsburgh about 7 years ago. So then I started working as a real estate agent, which I still operate today as a real estate agent, and so I connected with my friend again, Chris, and we started LifeSpace Real Estate together. And then about 3 years after that, I started Atlas Estates and started getting back into investing. And
wow.
So I eventually, you know, kind of fast forward now, Chris and I ended up buying Chris out and took over the company LifeSpace Real Estate, and then Atlas Estates has been growing ever since. So yeah, that's kind of summarized as best as I can.
That sums it up.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you have such a unique brand, and even just watching some of your YouTube videos yesterday, I love everything on your channel. I asked you earlier, who does all your videos? They're so beautiful, but I really love the road to 400 because I know you are so busy. You have so many properties that you are working on right now, and your brand is so unique because you always have that cute bow tie that you put somewhere in each of the homes that you flip. So tell me more about that. Why a bow tie?
Okay, so about 3 or 4 years ago, I was on HGTV, and we had a show that was our show. Long story short, that did not come to fruition. We just had one episode aired twice, and
what
it
a
didn't
cool
pan out.
experience, though.
But what happened with that is that when we were interviewing with the production company, I was dressed up and I had a bow tie on. And I still have a beard, but I had a bigger beard then. And the production company came back like, yeah, we just have 2 requirements. They're both for Jesse. We want him to keep his beard and wear a bow tie at all times. So I was like, all right, I'll be the bow tie guy. So
I like that look.
Yes. So I kind of ran with that. I think they saw a character and wanted it to be in place. So I ran with that, and you know, the show ended up not taking off. But you know, fast forward to our flips is that there's a lot of people flipping homes, and what's really, really important to me is to put out a good product. And as an agent, I get firsthand experience of working with buyers that are in the market today, right? And so what would happen was early on, people heard a flipped house and they're like, oh, everything's new, it's renovated. Well, there's a lot of people that might cut corners and not do it correctly. And to this day, I make mistakes and stuff, but I do my best to put out a good product. And so what was important to me is that we do these nicer, higher end renovations on our flips. And so every house that we sell, we incorporate a bow tie somewhere within the home. So it's going to take some time, right? But eventually, if you see a bow tie somewhere within the home, you're going to be like, oh, that's Atlas Estates.
There's going to be bow ties all over the burg.
That's exactly right.
I love it.
Exactly
I want you to
right.
do something in my place just so I could have a bow tie somewhere.
We can do that.
In the bathroom, somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, we incorporate them in different spots, so yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm sure each client is so different too, and do they just get to pick out where they would want it?
Well, majority of the time, like we do the renovation and it's completed and then we'll list it for sale. So we find the buyer afterwards, so it is what it is. But no one has like pushed back like, I don't want this bow tie on my wall, all right, So I think that they like it.
Yeah, I would love it. That's so cool. And you are really focused on a specific area of Pittsburgh that maybe gets a bad rap sometime. It's the Manor Homestead area. Tell me why you're so interested in that part of town and what's it like over there now? I'm sure things have grown even over the last few years.
100%. Yeah. So I got connected there. When I moved from Pittsburgh, I have dogs. I have pit bulls. They have a real bad rap, but wonderful animal. And but sometimes it's difficult to find places to rent because there's breed restrictions. So a buddy of mine had a house over in West Homestead. He's like, yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. We got it real cheap, but he's like, you can move in there. So when I moved in there, I didn't know anything about Pittsburgh or anything, and so I started to learn the area real well because I moved to the area, and I honestly saw like huge potential and huge opportunity there. So when I did start getting back into investing, that's where I focused on, And so, boy, the area has changed rapidly in the last 4 to 5 years, and most specifically this past year, you're seeing like significant changes. There's a lot of businesses coming in. There's different breweries, yoga studios, coffee shops. Yep.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we have, that's where we're focusing all of our investments in single families. We're going to be doing new construction here soon, eight single family homes, new construction over there. And then the biggest and probably the coolest project is the high school that we're converting to.
Bowtie High.
Bowtie High, that's right.
Yes,
Bowtie
tell
High.
me about Bowtie High.
Yeah, so all of my other and smaller single family investments are primarily just myself, but on this high school, full-blown honesty, I did not know what I was doing, right? So I brought in 2 partners. So it's myself, Dan Spanovich, and Adam Colucci, and they're great partners. They're killing it. Dan is, generally he's running the show. He's facilitating the renovations. He's calling the shots. He has the most experience in a conversion like this. But yeah, we're converting it to 31 to 33 apartments. There's a couple things in the area yet with the historic district and things, but we'll be converting that to apartments. We're getting real close to the end on a handful of the units, and excited to work with Emery of Amina Stone there for sure. Yeah, so they'll be coming in and doing their countertops there as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome! I can't wait to see that when it's completed. That's a big project.
It's very big. Yeah. It's the largest project I've ever done for sure. Yeah.
So when you are looking to buy a new property, what are you really looking for? Yeah, I'm sure that's tough.
Well, yeah. So it depends on how you look at it. There's a couple different things you look for, but I'll try to keep it simple. I mean, the easiest way to explain it is if I talk about just a single family home. So you need to find a house that, majority of the time needs renovations, okay? And then has the ability to resell for more after renovations. I know that's pretty vague in general, but I'm trying to keep it that as much as I can. But there's a certain criteria that I have to meet. And I won't go into too much details about the numbers, but generally speaking, I need to establish what the home can be worth. And then I need to be all into that home purchased and renovation for about 70% of that number. So I work my numbers backwards. If it's going to cost me $100,000 to renovate or $150,000 to renovate, then I know I could pay X for the home, right? Because it's going to be worth Y. So, that's the formula that we go by and how we determine if the property makes sense from an investment standpoint.
Well, each home you do, each property, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
You do such a wonderful job. How do you do it all yourself? I'm sure you have people who are helping. I mean, as far as the design process goes in each home, or helping with the interior, or is it all you? I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, from the design standpoint, in the past, there's some slight changes now, just recently. But yes, all of the design has 100% been me. But I have an in-house construction crew. My brother Scott runs that crew day to day. So I'm able to do quite a bit. But the truth is that I have an incredible team around me on many levels. You know what I mean? I'm the one here today talking about what I'm doing and what we're doing, but it's truthfully because of the crews that I have working for me and the teams that I have in place. And so I wouldn't be able to do all this stuff without them. But from a design standpoint, yes, I have been orchestrating that design. And like I said earlier, to references that day to day, I mean, I operate as a realtor. That's what I'm doing. I'm representing buyers. I'm representing sellers. And so, the investments is I touch base in the morning. I touch base at night. All other hours, I'm an agent or managing our brokerage, LifeSpace Real Estate. But yes. So the design is done by me. What I was going to say is working in the market is working with the buyers. It's firsthand experience of what buyers are looking for. So it gives me, in my opinion, an edge because I know that they want this type of design, or they're looking for this type of space, or they might not care as much about the dining room, but they'd want a larger kitchen. And it's different buyers. I work with a lot of different millennials, and I'm a millennial, so I appeal to them probably. But that's an advantage I have from the design aspect.
So that kind of plays into your style then. I was going to ask you, what would you describe as your style?
So I love real estate, and I love all different types of designs, and I want to do, industrial condos, New York style, and I want to do contemporary homes and classic tradition, so I love all different types of styles, and we do switch it up a little bit. But I would say, to try to generalize it a little bit, is that it's a hip and or trendy style, that it's keeping up with or one step ahead of the trends. You got to be careful, in my opinion, to not go too bold with design and take yourself out of that box of the buyers. But I also think it's important to add some bold features in that makes us stand apart. So it's that fine line that you got to find. And there's been many times that I've taken it too bold or not enough, and I've had people like, this is real nice, Jesse, but I expected a little more intense or a little more bold. I'm like, I'm sorry, just trying to figure that out every day.
Yeah, that would be hard to
sure.
work with so many different people. This, I don't know if you'd want to share this or not, but now I'm curious because you've done so many different projects. I'm sure every day there are things that you need to work on with a home, or a client wants something different, or they change their mind about something. Have you ever run into a really sticky situation where, what goes wrong when you're flipping homes? I'm sure everything goes wrong, right?
Everything. Yeah, I know. The thing about it is that there's so many issues that you have to overcome. I'm not going to pinpoint one of them, but yes, I think a lot of people
look into. I'm sure when you go into each property, you have to think like there are going to be problems.
100%, and after you do each project, right, you can learn and adjust, but there will always be something issue and always something different to overcome. But I think what happens is, because of shows like, or channels like HGTV, is like, they make it appear pretty easy, with like one problem throughout the renovation or something.
That's all they do. They focus on one problem and then it's solved.
Yes. So and it's just not the case. It's very, very difficult to renovate homes, and you have to have a certain mindset and a certain demeanor. And it wears on me at times, right? When you're dealing with problems and issues pretty consistently, it can be a lot. But I really cannot pinpoint this problem. It's you run into problems at every job site, at every turn. From scheduling to contractors to unexpected issues with the home to everything.
That's the fun of it, though.
That's exactly right. You just got to learn, adjust, and keep rolling.
Well, you're such a accomplished person at such a young age. I keep mentioning that, but it's really impressive to see.
Thank you very much.
It really is.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, absolutely. But what would you say, this is another hard question. I keep throwing them at you today, the hard balls. What really motivates you because not everybody is built the way that you're built, where you are so driven, you're creative, you're hungry, you want to do it all.
That's true. I am, and I get this question quite a bit if I'm doing podcasts or just generally talking to a neighbor that's asking me about what I do and stuff. And it's difficult for me to pinpoint why I'm so motivated to a certain aspect. I know that one of the contributing factors to being very motivated to become abundantly successful is I genuinely do want to give back to my friends, to my family, to the community. There's been a couple examples, I mentioned this earlier, that I've been in a position where, and I want to say one thing, I'm doing very well, but day to day I'll still run into issues or make adjustments and have some cash flow problems. Like it's still a business, and and overcoming obstacles as time goes on. But majority of the time I'm in a position to do what I want or help out. And one example I want to give to you that will circle back around that pushes or makes me become motivated is like, I want to give back and I want to help. And I had a situation about 9 months ago that my dog had to have emergency surgery, and they did not know what was wrong with him. And they came to me and said it'd be anywhere between $7,000 to $9,000 to have an exploratory surgery. We can't guarantee we'll find the problem, and if we can't find the problem, we'd have to euthanize them, and you'd still have to pay the $7,000 to $9,000. And I love my dog so much, and there was no way in hell that I would not do that. And so I said yes, let's do that, and it ended up cost me around, I think it was $7,000 or $8,000, and they found the problem and they fixed him, and he's happy and he's healthy. Okay, but it destroyed.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you so much. They're absolutely my kids, but so. Afterwards, I got really emotional about it, specifically because I was in a position to say, yes, I will pay anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 on the chance, the chance that he can live. And there are many, many, many people in this world that don't have the ability to do so. And Joe, he doesn't have the money to do so, but he loves his dog just as much as I love my dog, and that's not fair that he doesn't have the funds to do so. And so I have this drive and I have this motivation, and I believe that I'll be abundantly successful. And when I am, I have every intention on giving back and helping out and doing big things.
I love that. And I'm just happy that your whole family is doing well now.
Yes.
But
yes.
no, that's it. I think about that all the time too, because our dog Bentley is so sweet, and he's blind, and he has a lot of problems. But other than that,
yes.
He has Cushing's disease too. He goes to the bathroom a lot. He wears diapers.
Wow.
Long story short, he is so sweet. But we would do anything for him.
100%.
And that is something that you think about, that it's expensive.
It really
Pets
is.
are expensive.
Yes.
So I love that, you looked at that situation and turned it into a positive, and how you want to help others.
100%.
That's amazing. And your beautiful wife, Marissa.
Yes.
You just got married, right?
I did, yes, about 2 weeks ago.
So it's you, Marissa, and the dogs.
That's right, Atlas and Chevy.
Atlas, of course.
That's
I
right.
love it.
Yeah.
So congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell me about your wedding.
It was awesome. It was very exciting. So we went to Mexico. We had a destination wedding in Riviera Maya.
I love Mexico.
Yes, it was great. And everything went really well. We had just over 40 people there, friends and family. And, we arrived on a Saturday, and the wedding was on Tuesday. And the wedding was absolutely great. My dad, he became an ordained minister online and officiated the wedding. Okay.
Yeah.
So he did that for us, and then had the reception afterwards, and everything went super, super well. And we shut it down at 11, and then everyone stripped down to their boxers and underwear and jumped in the pool. So it was a really, really fun, exciting night. It was one of the best nights of my life. And Marissa had a blast as well. So,
that's so cool.
It was great.
I love it. Well, you kind of work together, right?
That's right.
So
yeah.
how did this come about? How did you guys first meet?
So as mentioned earlier, I've been an agent for 7 years, but Marissa has actually been an agent a year longer than me. She's been a real estate agent for 8 years, and I had mentioned earlier that the first thing I did in real estate was flip a home. So a friend connected us, and she was my agent. So she sold me my first flip home, and that's how I really got to know her. So she was my realtor.
What a good story.
For sure.
That's like It was just meant to be.
That's exactly
And
right.
everything in love and life.
Exactly right.
So perfect.
Yeah. So nowadays, so she's working with me with LifeSpace Real Estate. So it's a real estate brokerage, boutique brokerage. We have about 20 agents and a couple offices now. So we're growing. We're doing some cool things. We're definitely a different vibe from some other companies. And it's exciting. It's fun. I'm having a blast, and I'm looking forward to the future to some changes that we're making too.
Well, that leads me into my next question, Jesse. Where do you see your companies going? That's a broad answer. I'm sure you see it going in many different directions, but what are some of your goals over the next few years?
Yeah, so, I listen to a lot of different motivational videos and listen to podcasts and different things like that. And you hear a lot of different perspectives on what you should do or how you should do it and how you should grow and goals you should set and be definitive and things of that nature. And as you probably can imagine, I do have a lot of goals. But what I generally do is honestly, I just push and I just continue to grow and adjust and adapt so I don't know where it's going to end up, but I'm hungry, I'm motivated, and I'm growing the companies, and I'm going to continue to grow the companies. So we'll see where it ends up.
We're going to have you back next year, and we're going to see how much it's grown already. But it's been such a blast getting to know you. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun to talk. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
We have one more thing to do before we sign off.
Okay.
We always end each episode of From the Top with a little bit of singing. I don't know if you like to sing.
I will sing. Yes,
I'm a bad singer. I don't like to sing.
Oh,
but
man, yeah.
I do like our jingle because it's catchy. Ooh, Armina Stone. Beautiful. So we're going to do it as loud as you want, Jesse. I'll count us down. 3.
And I'm doing it with you, right?
Oh, yeah. We're doing it together.
Perfect. That sounds good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, Armina Stone.
Yay, I love it. You're great, Jesse Wig.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much. I
Thank
can't
you
wait
for
to have
having
you
me.
back.
Sounds good. Thank you.